Bonjour, Robin from French Toast Quintos here. I'm excited to be trying a new format today to give you a post in a slightly different way, in a way that I think will be interesting and also more useful than just trying to write out a post because you'll actually be able to see my slides and I'll be able to explain it in a better way. So here I am to tell you how I do a class survey in my middle school French classes. No, I love class surveys because they can be used for a variety of topics. Um, what time do you get up? What do you eat for breakfast? Do you like this or this? It works really well for preference units, but can be adapted to other topics as well. This is typically when I will include a lot of class surveys. It's also great for student engagement because they're able to connect more to the topic since it's really about them and the class that they're in. And it can change between classes what their responses are. And so the topic can shift slightly or the discussion will shift slightly based on how the students respond to the survey. Like I said, it's personalized because it's about what they like and how they respond to each question. Class surveys can also be done in multiple formats, which I think makes it so versatile and useful in the world language classroom. They can give you an opportunity to add movement into your class by either having students mingle, they can get a little bit of speaking practice because they can actually be asking each other the questions, or you can have them move to side depending on the language level and the comfort level of your students. So you can say go to this side if you respond this way, or the other side if you respond this way. So like if you like it, go to the left. If you don't like it, go to the right. It can also be done as a whole class. So if you have large classes or rowdy groups where you're not sure you're really comfortable having them getting up and moving around, you can simply have them raise their hand if they like this thing, or now raise your hand if you don't like it and count that way. They can also be done digitally. So if you're teaching remotely, there's a poll option here on Zoom, or you can use a Nearpod or a Desmos. I've done both of those formats before, and it's really easy to do. So it really is, you can personalize it for what you think your students can handle and what they'll enjoy. So one class might need to get a little bit more movement and they might like being able to speak, whereas a more shy class might be easier to just do the side to side and can be the same topic, the same questions, but you can change it for how you want your class to run. They can also be little to no prep. You'll see I definitely did some prep for this unit, but it could just be, you say something and they get up and move side to side. You don't even have to prep anything. You don't have to have papers or packets or anything like that. You can just have them stand up and move. So it can be nice for like a brain break if you just want like a little class survey, or it can be a whole lesson where you just come up with a list of things either in advance or on the spot, which is really nice for um, just for you as a teacher to not prep anything. And they're so easy to replicate with multiple topics. You'll see the prep that I did, how I set up this particular lesson. And now I'm easily just copying the slides and copying the spreadsheet, and I can just reuse it for other topics especially within this preference unit. It makes it super easy to just duplicate and reuse from year to year. But once you've kind of got that format down, you can start applying it to other topics and quickly switch around, and the students will get used to it as well. For this unit, as part of a preference unit I did with sixth grade, so these slides, and we were really talking about like I like, dislike, and I prefer. No, this is just part of their world language UA. So it's like very simple, just like a snippet appetizer of French and Spanish within the 20 days that I had them. Now you'll see that the way I have this set up is to really support my very novice learners, but it can be adapted to, all the way novice through advanced students, and you'll be able to do more with the advanced students, maybe coming up with the questions, um, or having less supports in place for your more advanced students. For this lesson, we were talking about classes that they like. We talked about sports and we talked about food in another one. So really, I was just focusing on the words like and dislike. And for this lesson, the survey, I did classes. So because it was such a small part of the unit and they weren't really familiar with this vocabulary, I started off with this class reading where they were just looking for cognates, just to help preview the vocabulary and make sure they understood what they would be talking about. Whereas some of them, they might not have been able to figure out, like facts or PE in English. So I wanted to preview that vocabulary as well. And then during the survey, I also put this slide up just in case they forgot what these things were. They would have the picture support to go with it. Now, if you're doing this activity as part of a larger unit, they may not need this support at the beginning of class, or this may be something you've done days before. For the actual survey, I gave each student a piece of paper like this. Before handing them out, I used this slide to explain, but each of them had a question to ask their classmates. So I had a whole list of these that I printed, one for each class. So I really made sure that this part here that they understood what they were asking. Do you like music class? And I would just swapped out, do you like PE? Do you like science class? And because they're novice learners, they really can't ask the question yet. So I just wanted it to be very supportive in having the question right on the page that they just had to read off. They'd get used to asking questions, but all they had to do was read. And then there were visual supports as well for the like and dislike. So each student, again, had a different question. For larger classes, some of them had the same question, like 2 kids had the same question. That's okay. We were able to kind of, make sure that they had the same numbers when they responded. Just to verify, did you get the same number of people who said like and dislike, in that way? And so what they would do is they would ask this question, and then for each student in the class, and the students they would respond, yes, I like it. And so they'd make a tally mark here for each student that said they liked it, and no, I don't like. And they would make a tally mark here for all the students that said no, they dislike it. And so they would just have this piece of paper with their pencil, walk around. They're able to stay in the target language as much as possible because they already had the question there and the visual support of the like and dislike. And I would just prompt them to be practicing their French as they were going about. And then after a certain amount of time, when it looked like most of the students were done or getting close to done, if they didn't have all of the students in the class, that was okay. I just took the numbers based on what they were able to get. For those shy students that maybe didn't go about to talk to all of the other kids in the class, I just kind of took whatever numbers they had. So I built this chart here that's linked to a spreadsheet. So actually come out here. This is what it looks like, totally blank. It has all of the classes down at the bottom that were on their sheet that they had to ask about. So like I said, so it's linked to this spreadsheet here. And what I would do is I'd go around and I'd ask the student, who had math. And so in the target language, who had math? How many people like math? And they would give me their answer. I'd hope, we had been doing number practice. It was kind of good to review that a little bit. And, they would tell me 8 people liked it, and 6 people didn't like it. We go about the same thing. Science, how many liked it and how many disliked it. And we just fill out the chart in that way. And now it copies it onto this chart. So it's really easy to just get the information and the data from the students. And then back on the slide, you can actually update it and it will produce the chart for you on the slide. So that I was able to look back at the slide with the students, and we could look at our complete data and count how many liked each class. So, 8 people liked math and 6 liked science. And I'd have them repeat the numbers, 8, 6, just to get a little bit extra practice in there. And then I would have them look as a class, okay, what was the most popular? So I tell them, look at the orange. Which class was the most popular? So they could look at the highest number. Okay, so 8 people said they liked math. That was the highest number here. So that is the most popular class. Okay, now look at the green. How many people, what was the least popular class? What class doesn't our class like? Okay, 10 was the highest number. That's the least popular class. So it's kind of nice to be able to have that discussion, have a little bit of that, comparisons between most and least, and prefer in that way. There we go. So here you can see one of the actual charts from my class, all filled out, and so it's really nice. Like here's one class and here's another class. You can really see that there are differences between the two. Um, And so it really is personalized. So in this one, more people disliked technology versus the blue class. A lot of people liked technology class. So it was really interesting just to be able to see, and it was personalized to what the students in that class actually liked. Now, if you want to go a little, you can go a little more low tech, and you could just draw this chart on the board if you wanted to, or just write the numbers. Math, 10 like, 20 dislike. And you could recreate this aspect of the spreadsheet just on the board, just by writing. So you can go a little bit more low tech, or you can, if you use a Nearpod and use a survey in that way, or like Desmos, it's going to populate the chart for you. So you don't even have to set this all up. I think it's like the survey feature, and I think I haven't used the poll feature on Zoom for a while, but I think it makes a chart or will just tell you the numbers in that way. It's kind of depending on how you go. Now that I have this set up, I just keep reusing um, this chart. I just copy the spreadsheet and then change it and link it to my slides. If you're interested in learning more about how to do that and like the techie part of it, let me know. I'm happy to make another how-to video on actually how to make and set this chart up and link it into your slides. So that could be another video. Just leave a comment if that's something you're interested in. Once we were all done with taking our data and a little bit of class discussion, we then wrote about it. They had packets to write the sentences on, and we would do our class writing. And so it would be really something simple as, kind of depends on what your goal is for this unit and the words that you want to expose them to and repeat over and over and over again. So I was talking about likes and dislikes. So I might have, the class in the target language, of course, likes or prefers math class. The class doesn't like PE. That might be my sentences. Or you can go with if you want to up it a little bit, the most popular class is, the least popular class is, or you can even, if you want to add more numbers in there, 10 people liked math class and 4 people didn't like class. Again, this is all based on what the language level of your students are, their proficiency level, and the language that you're targeting. So after this, we would read in French and then again in English. And we might have like a little quick quiz, true or false, based on our discussion, depending on the amount of time. So again, I hope this was useful. I hope you liked being able to see kind of the behind the scenes and my actual slides and what I'm using in class. It might hopefully give you some ideas of a new kind of activity to try. Again, it's very versatile, so you can customize it to what your student needs are, to your class and your topic of discussion. Let me know if you found this video useful. If you like this format, I'm happy to do other videos in this way. And also, if you're interested in the tech aspect of how to actually make the survey, make the chart in Google, and have it linked to your slides, also put a comment, and I'm happy to do that. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.